This week on 3D Printed Soup, how do you tell if 3D printing has become mainstream? You find 3D printed stuff inside charity shops. That's right after this. Hello fellow makers and welcome back to 3D Printed Soup. This week I have been jumping between charity shops. I have a 1-year-old and she likes Mega Bloks and she likes toy trains. Toy trains are expensive, Mega Bloks are expensive. And yet I managed to find bags and bags of them for fairly cheap in charity shops, so I am now addicted. Short story long, I was digging around in some of the boxes in a well-known high street charity shop. I can't tell you which one it is, but it rhymes with oxfam. And I found this. And I know what you're thinking. It's a kid's lightsaber. Hasbro make dozens and dozens of them. Hasbro doesn't make this one. It's spiky. It's got proper chunky spikes on one end and it's got studs with spikes on the pommel. If you started selling these to children, they're going to lose an eye fairly quickly. Or another child's going to lose an eye or some teeth. It's a weighty, chunky beast. So I had a quick look at it and I noticed several odd things. First of all, there is no branding on here. There's no Hasbro, there's no Disney. There's nothing on here to show that it's a toy manufactured. Secondly, there's no mould lines. It doesn't have the lines running down from top to bottom that make it look cheap and crap, and that's been injection moulded in a Chinese factory somewhere. And thirdly, there are layer lines on this thing. This thing has been 3D printed. It's been hand painted and it's been assembled by somebody who has used an STL file, a 3D printer, and has made this themselves. And they've done a damn good job. It's chunky, it's heavy, it's probably got a 50% to 100% fill rate on this thing, which means that it's almost solid filament, and this is definitely filament. It is not resin because it's not that heavy and not that chunky. And it's a nice design. You can twist the end off here. It comes into 3 parts. You've got the pommel, you got the tang, and you have got the emitter. The emitter itself has got threading on it. I was going to say rifling. That's not rifling, that's threading. It's got threading 3D printed, which is very difficult to print. But they've done a really good job, and they've also put some kind of oil on it so that basically it fits into here and doesn't damage it when it's screwing in, because plastic on plastic does tend to wear out, whereas this is actually rather nice. They have undercoated it with what looks like grey primer. And on top of that, they've done a dark red, which shows up through the holes in the emitter here. That goes through there. This goes into here. And that screws on there nicely. There's no jamming, there's no burring, and it all seems to light up very, very well. This is a very nice design. Prints in 3 parts for easy printing. I had a dig around on Thingiverse, I had a look on Yegi, I had a look on 3D Cults. I cannot find this thing anywhere. I went on to a few other sites as well. I went on to Etsy. There's nobody selling this particular lightsaber pattern at this time. So I can only imagine this is a custom job. I mean, I swear I've seen this design somewhere before. I can't pin it down. I can't find anything on the internet about this particular lightsaber. So whether it's somebody mixing and matching, I'm not sure. Maybe there's loads of these, you can switch them out. But this is definitely 3D printed and it's definitely a custom made job. Now, where am I going with this? Well, I had a chat with the woman in the shop and she had no idea this was 3D printed. And yeah, one of the guys behind the counter said, oh yeah, I know about 3D printing. I hadn't realised that was 3D printed. And he thought 3D printing was really expensive, and I put him right on that, explained to him that you can put up a fairly decent 3D printer now for about 150 quid, which he was quite interested in. It's nice to be spreading the hobby around, and hopefully he'll go out and buy a 3D printer now and take up the hobby and encourage others. How did that get into a charity shop, and why was it being resold? I don't know. I'm just glad that no kid got hold of this, because that's a deadly weapon. But do you know what this is? Have any of you out there seen this design before? Anyone tell me whose lightsaber it is? Did you 3D print this? Any of you 3D print this? If so, please get in touch. I'd love to know. It'd be great to find out where this came from, how it ended up in a charity shop, and it's really, really odd to see 3D printed stuff being sold second hand. I'm going to keep my eye out in the future and see if I can find any more 3D printed stuff being sold second hand. But at the moment, this is the first for me. Thanks so much for watching 3D Printed Soup. And thanks to everyone who's liked and subscribed this month. We are really getting up there now, which is absolutely heartwarming and amazing. If you haven't subscribed, drag your cursor down, highlight the subscribe button, give that a click. Welcome to the 3D printed community, which is 3D Printed Soup. Your turn to do the washing up. It's on the rota, don't ask questions. Now you can also help the channel grow, or you can basically just help me get my caffeine fix. I've got a coffee account set up. It's the usual thing, links in the description below, and you can basically help the channel. So, thanks so much for watching 3D Printed Soup. Stay happy, stay safe, keep printing.